What's up everybody, this is Danny, and today I've partnered with MediaTek to share with you my 1-week experience with the new Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra. If you're into big tablets, this is one of the biggest out there, and while it looks almost the same as last year's, it has some nice changes under the hood that make this already great tablet even better, so let's just jump right in. I'm going to save you some time on the unboxing. If you want to see that type of stuff, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, but you don't get much here. You get the tablet itself, a charging cable, and some paperwork, and yes, I know it would have been nice for them to throw in a charging brick, but I still have to give Samsung kudos for including the S Pen. I hope they never stop including this because with the tablet this big and the AI features built in, it's very useful, which I'll show you a little bit later. If you look at the Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra and the Tab S10 Ultra together, they look exactly the same. So what's actually changed? Well, on the outside, not much. They are both made of aluminum, but the new one's supposed to be 10% more durable. But besides that, the cameras, the ports, the speakers, the display, all of that remains the same, but the biggest change that we get this year is what's powering the tablet. Last year it was powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset, but Samsung pulled a wild card this year and put the MediaTek Dimensity 9300 Plus processor inside. And this is huge because I believe this is the first flagship Samsung tablet that's been powered by MediaTek, and this is a supercharged version of the Dimensity 9300 that we saw in some smartphones earlier this year. And I just came back from Berlin where Xiaomi launched their more affordable flagship, the 14T and 14T Pro, which is also powered by the Dimensity 9300 Plus processor. So this is nice to see in a flagship tablet like this. So how does the new one compare to last year's Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra? When it comes to CPU performance, you're getting a nice bump. On Geekbench 6, there is a modest increase in single core, but multi-core is where you gain the most. Mid 5500s on the last generation and almost 7200 on the Tab S10 Ultra, so that is respectable. The GPU also got a nice increase from about 9500 on the Tab S9 Ultra on the OpenCL benchmark and over 12,000 on the Tab S10 Ultra. But check out the Vulkan GPU benchmark score, about the same, 9663 on the Tab S9 Ultra, but 14,237 on the Tab S10 Ultra. So you get a nice performance gain across the board, and if you choose the smaller and cheaper Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Plus, then you also get a MediaTek Dimensity 9300 Plus chipset in there as well. I've been using this for the last week, and I can't lie, this tablet is big, and I don't think you feel it much in landscape because that's more natural in your hands when you're using it, but when I'm holding it vertically, this is where I feel the size the most. It's tall and almost feels like you're holding a laptop screen in your hands because you basically are, and it's a little bit uncomfortable holding it this way, especially with one hand. But the tablet is just so razor thin that it's not heavy at all, so it does have that going for it. Here it is compared to the iPad Pro 13-inch, and you can just see how much bigger it is, but I do absolutely love the display on the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra. 14.6-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display, and it's 120 Hz, so it's nice and fluid. And this is the ultimate display to watch content on. The colors are great, the blacks are so inky, so if you're a Samsung owner, you already know they make some of the best displays in the business. The one reason why you might want to upgrade is the new anti-reflective display. This is similar to the Galaxy S24 Ultra's display, and while it doesn't cut out all the reflections, it really does a great job, so I love this feature personally. The performance has been on point so far, but one of the best things is that the tablet stays cool while you're streaming movies and playing games. And as you can see there on the top right, the MediaTek Dimensity 9300 Plus has Wi-Fi 7 built in, so you can expect some fast networking speeds depending on the speed of your connection. I have the lowest spec model with 256 gigabytes of storage, but that's cool because there is a micro SD card slot still, which is awesome. But there is a difference between the storage models. The 256 and 512 get 12 gigabytes of RAM, while the 1 terabyte model gets 16 gigabytes of RAM, but that's about the only difference. But even on the model that I have with multitasking, I'm having no issues with performance. This is what I love about Samsung devices as a whole. You can open up to 3 apps at a time and you can resize them, so you can definitely stay productive as you want. For me, the problem with more windows means that I can have more social media open at once, and I can also catch up on some great YouTube videos, and I could definitely be doing better things with my downtime, but yeah, you get the idea. For me personally, I like to use it more like a laptop because the display is so large. A keyboard case of some kind is definitely a must, or at least a case with a kickstand anyways to prop this thing up. This is the Samsung Book Cover Keyboard Slim, and by design, this thing is pretty cool because it fits the tablet perfectly. It is very thin when it's closed, and it also has a cool flap here where the pen can be stored with easy access, but here's why I don't recommend it. I'm not a huge fan of how this feels, especially when typing. Granted, the slim profile does give you more key travel than I expected, but I don't find it to be the most comfortable typing experience, and it doesn't have have a trackpad at all. But what's great is I know that they're coming out with an updated version with the trackpad. But if you already have a keyboard case for the Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra, then you can use it here because the design didn't change and it's backwards compatible, so you can save a little money there. But with the new keyboards, you get a dedicated AI key, which I do like, and you can choose between Bixby and Google Gemini, but I opted for Gemini because Gemini Live is awesome. I know some people might be wondering, are there any changes in the Samsung experience because of the chipset change? And I didn't see any. As you can see here, all of the Samsung AI features remain plus a few more, and here are some of my favorites that I've been using. I think sketch to image is one of the most useful features on this form factor because the display is so large. If you don't know what this is, basically you can sketch up any idea that you might have, and it uses AI to make that drawing come to life. And you even have choices with styles with that generated image, so I think this is a neat feature. This also extends to the photos. You might have already seen this on the latest Samsung Galaxy smartphones. There's an AI button that allows you to remove objects and use generative fill to tweak that photo to your liking. You can even draw things and make them come to life on your photos, so you can have a lot of fun with this. You can also translate messages in real time, live translation in interpreter mode. You can summarize notes and documents, so much more that you can do with those Galaxy AI features. With the screen this big, it's natural that you want to play games on this, and I've tested a few games on it. I have to admit, I've never played Genshin Impact before thoroughly, and I can see why some are addicted to it. I just started it up to test the performance since it's a good benchmark, but I found myself playing this for hours, so not good for my productivity. But the good thing is that I was able to turn up the graphics settings and pushed it to the maximum 60 frames per second allowed, and it ran smoothly. And I played this for hours, and I didn't feel the tablet getting hot at all, so it seems to be cooling properly, which is great. So I was pleasantly surprised by the gaming performance. I made the mistake of letting my daughter try this game, and she literally played this for hours and hours, so I'm surprised how well the battery was holding up considering how taxing this is on the GPU. I took a screenshot right after with the screen brightness up, and playing Genshin Impact straight for 3 hours and 7 minutes, it took 61% of the battery, so that is not bad at all. Of course, the MediaTek Dimensity 9300 Plus is powerful enough to run your casual games, but I do have to say holding a tablet in landscape as beautiful as the screen is can get uncomfortable after some time, so I would suggest a case or a keyboard case to prop it up and use a Bluetooth controller. I know a lot of you play PUBG and Call of Duty Mobile, and I really suck at these games, but I had to try them, but they ran smoothly while I was playing it. So for me being a casual mobile gamer, I found the performance to be good on this, so I don't think that you'll be disappointed at all. I know that some of you might be concerned about the optimizations of certain games, but this is the reason why that the processor change this year is so important, because the more devices that are being powered by MediaTek, the more that the game developers will optimize their games for their chipsets. So as consumers, we win. I think the more processor choices that we get in these devices, and certainly at different price points, are super important for tech moving forward. So let's hope that this helps bring the price down as their partnership matures. Speaking of pricing, the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra starts at $1199 for the one that I showed you today with 256 gigabytes of storage, but can go all the way up to $1,600 plus if you go for the 1 terabyte, which I don't recommend because you do have a micro SD card slot in all models. But Samsung has a ton of trade-in deals and incentives that make this up to $800 off, so I'll leave a link down below if you want to check current pricing. So is the S10 Ultra worth upgrading to? I would say if you have a Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra already and you're happy with it, I don't think it's worth jumping to unless you need more power with the Dimensity 9300 Plus speed bump and maybe that anti-reflective display. But if you're on anything before the Tab S9, then I think it's worth an upgrade depending on what you do with your tablet. But overall, I think the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra is a solid tablet. The biggest and baddest tablet got even better. And if you aren't a fan of the Apple ecosystem or the iPad, then this is the best Android tablet that money can buy. I'll see you guys in the next one.